Kaming mahirap po, pinaghihirapan po namin ang aming internet. Kaya sana po, maging sulit naman po yung paghihirap namin. Mahirap na nga kami, tapos wala pang internet, lalo na kami maghihirap.
The internet has been a big part of a person's daily life in the Philippines, specifically in Mindanao, and the situation only grew worse when the COVID-19 pandemic happened. Nowadays, everything that a person does requires an internet connection, may it be studying, working, video calling, or just simply communicating with other people. What Filipinos are most concerned about is that this social problem has been going on for years, and despite having short-term resolutions, it comes back from time to time. Internet services in the Philippines also cost a lot of money, but the qualities do not seem to match the high price tag. Internet speeds are not the same in all parts of the Philippines and in Mindanao. Most of the time, rural places suffer the most with slowest internet, wherein everyday activities requiring the internet have an even slower progress than their urban counterparts. We observed the day of an average high school student in rural Davao, as she struggles to complete the base requirements for her curriculum. This is Alana Shane T. Galion, a grade 11 STEM student, and is currently taking online classes at Davao Central College's Senior High School unit. Like many others, she has taken advantage of Davao Central College's fully online school year to study at home. However, the slow internet connection has made this decision almost a burden, rather than an advantage.
As an online student, I have struggles while learning. The most struggling factor for me is not being able to enter the Zoom meeting or the online classroom due to the slow internet connection.
This has also led to frustration during classes as she has difficulty hearing her teacher due to the internet. Her assessments and assignments have also been affected since the slow internet makes it impossible for her to pass on time. Our next speaker, Mr. Geronimo Isnani, is a civil engineer and is currently working with the International Organization for Migration in Zamboanga City. From him, we'll be gaining some insight into the difficulties of improving Mindanao's internet connection through the eyes of an expert.
There are many factors to consider why we still have a lack of telecommunication in the Philippines. One is the lack of telecommunication tower. Communication in the Philippines are limited only towards the cities, but in remote areas, there's a lack of telecommunication. Plus, peace and order to consider as well, because in the remote areas, as far as from Apari to Sulu, there's still issues of peace and order. So still, possible solutions to fix the internet connections in the Philippines. One, of course, peace and order, so that it will give way to the installation of the telecommunication tower, so that the telecommunication tower will help to reach the frequencies up to the remote areas.
He also mentions President Duterte's plan to install 10,000 towers across the Philippines to improve internet connections. But according to him, peace and order must be instilled for the plan to be fully put into action. He adds that the Philippines must also have a solo bandwidth connection, since the country still relies on Singapore's networks to sustain their own internet connections, and this results in the Philippines not having the same strength of internet as their neighbors. Despite the slow internet speeds, Secretary Gregorio Honasan III, chief of the country's Department of Information and Communications, has claimed that internet connectivity in the Philippines had drastically improved, and that the country was no longer lagging behind in global internet speed rankings, according to Cordero 2021. Latest data from global internet speed monitoring firm Speedtest by Ookla as of July 2021 showed that the country's fixed broadband average download speed reached 71.17 Mbps, an almost 800% improvement from the 7.91 Mbps level in July of 2016, when the Duterte administration came to office. Manny Pangalinan's BLDT has also begun cable laying in Dipolog City in order to provide better services to customers in Mindanao last March of 2022. The project will loop more than 700 kilometers to PLDT's fiber network, improving resiliency and service quality for both fixed and wireless services in Mindanao, according to Mercurio 2022. We continue to strive to level up our customers' experience by expanding our fiber network, which powers our 4G and 5G mobile networks and our fixed broadband network, serving families and businesses nationwide. PLDT and Smart Communications Incorporated Head of Technology Mario Temayo said. But will these changes be felt by everyday, ordinary citizens on the ground? Citizens like Ms. Galon and other students struggling to maintain connections to set a path for their future, and workers and engineers like Mr. Isnani working to provide for their families? This is Mr. Edgar V. Ilustrisimo, a former broadcast technician of the ABS-CBN Broadcasting Corporation and the retailer and owner of Rugged Link IT Solutions.
So sa ngayon, napag-isipan ko na magtayo ng maliit na company. Yun yung Rugged Link IT Solutions. Yun po yung nagpo-provide nagre-retail ng internet connection.
His company specializes in reaching faraway places like mountains which contain dead spots, meaning areas with no signal of any kind. They use a point-to-point method to provide those said areas with an internet connection using towers as relay points. Aside from towers, they have also set up computer shops in faraway barangays to the benefit of rural communities. Due to the unstable internet in the Philippines, retailers like himself has had to think of ways to reach customers and to pick up the needed work to be done in order to deliver and run a respectable service.
Malaki po talagang kawalan ng income, lalo na bumabagal or mag-low bandwidth ang PLDT or mayroong fiber cut, especially sa mga subscribers namin na call centers. Silang mas lalong naapektuhan dahil nga maputol ang internet connection nila. Maputol ang conversation sa mga teachers, schools na gumagamit ng Zoom, maapektuhan din sila. Kaya ginawa namin ng paraan para tuloy-tuloy at maikli lang ang putol.
But even they have had to spend more on their businesses just to be able to provide a decent connection. Mr. Ilustrisimo has even subscribed to 2 networks, PLDT and Globe, so if the former fails, the latter can pick up the pace. This is a testimony on how the internet connection in the Philippines is in dire straits for both the customers and the retailers.
Low bandwidth ang PLDT. So since na nagre-retail kami, sila yung source. So talagang maapektuhan yung income namin. May mga landslide na mangyayari, mapuputol yung fiber. So malaking kawalan din yun sa amin kasi nga sa kanila din kami nagre-rely ng internet connection.
2020 has proven how much of a need the internet is rather than a want. Interviewees are then asked about their outlook on the situation of connectivity in their areas and if they think the internet speeds will get better as time goes on. Will these solutions be sustainable? And how long will it take for true change on the ground to be felt? However, they chose not to comment due to uncertainty. The internet is a very big part of the Filipino and Mindanao's lives now. Most people need to have a stable internet in order to make a living. Through this documentary, may all the people's voices be heard, and may this long-term social problem be fixed. Many opportunities can be taken through the internet, and many chances can be wasted with a slow and unstable one.